Welcome back to Hirsko Online, your online resource for information on custom foot orthotics, AFOs, custom molded shoes and prosthetics. In this video we're going to briefly demonstrate a method to take a cast for an Arizona brace and a leather ankle gauntlet type device, a Ritchie brace or a standard or traditional AFO. So the first thing we do is we seat the patient comfortably and have them maintain their leg in a 90-degree position. We begin by protecting the patient's skin. So I'm going to roll up this plastic bag, make it nice and tight, put your two thumbs at the end of the seam, and then the patient will raise their leg and the bag goes over. And now I'm just going to fold that plastic over and tape it down with one or two pieces of tape. The next thing we do is we add a back strap as a protection for the patient, and we have the patient help us by putting their finger right there and holding it in place. And once again, we tape that to the dorsum of the foot. Finally, we put a tube over that so we have a channel where our scissors or cutting blade can track. With the leg protected and the tube in place, we're now ready to get the casting material ready. This is an STS mid-leg sock. Open the bag and it has a protective film on it. At this stage, the cast is exposed to the air, but it doesn't cure quickly, so you have plenty of time. There's no need to rush this process. And you can even advise the patient not to interfere or touch the sock. Stretch it out, it's nice and soft. That's going to go over the toes of the foot. At this stage, you need to make sure you're ready to go. You dip the sock into water. Just regular room temperature water is sufficient. You squeeze it out, and then you have the patient lift their foot, and you place the seams of the sock over the toe. The critical aspect of this operation is to get the sock around the back of the heel and keep it tight so that there's no wrinkles on the foot. If you pull the heel up too quickly and there is still material over the top of the foot, you'll have a difficult time getting the sock to its full extended length. Bring it all the way up to its full extension. Don't leave it curled up. You have the patient place the foot back in the original position, holding the 90 degrees. Wet your fingers and begin to work the sock in to get the proper contours of the foot. You will tell the patient that the sock may feel warm. It's an exothermic reaction as it's set. And while it's still wet, take the scissors and just give yourself a little introductory cut right on top. That'll make the removal of the sock far easier. And down at the front over the second toe, make another second small incision so you have a starting point to remove the sock. At this point, you can palpate for the head of the malleolus and mark it. That's always a good idea, and it's particularly important in the case of a Ritchie brace, because once you've marked the head of the malleolus, you can then come around and do a circumscribed mark around the malleolus itself. Do that both medially and laterally. After 2 minutes, the cast is almost fully dry. Patient's name. The next step is to mark score lines across your cut line, across the channel, so the lab is able to realign the the sock appropriately. So short 1 to 2 inch lines across the cutting tube will be sufficient. You can use either a short surgical scissors, which works extremely well, although that method takes a little bit of time. This is a standard 50-cent letter opener with a small blade buried behind. This works even more easily, and it just slides right along your tube. Voila. At this stage, you reverse your process, so you remove the tube first. The strap is resistant, just leave it on the foot. There's no reason to remove it. And now with both of those removed, I like to just tear the bag down the anterior aspect of the lower extremity, so there's no resistance from that. Gently just loosen it up, have the patient raise their leg, and without any pressure, just by gentle movements and wriggling, I can loosen it up. That cast comes right off. And there we have a cast of the lower leg in proper alignment that we can use to make an ankle gauntlet or a short articulating AFO. Thank you once again for joining us at HRSCO Online.